Cyberpunk, History of Dark Age, Season 2, Episode 1, Shadows in Neon, 10 days later. The storm's echoes had faded, but the city never slept. Neon veins pulsed across broken towers, stitching together a fragile heartbeat. 10 days was enough for scars to form, on buildings, on circuits, and on people. The Citadel was no longer just rebuilding, it was mutating. A new corporate titan had risen from the ashes, Helix Dynamics, promising revolutionary implants and surveillance tech. For citizens, it was sold as innovation. For those who knew better, it was control in chrome packaging. In the underworld, the vacuum left by old cartels birthed something nastier. The Serpent Mafia, ruthless in business, poetic in violence. They didn't fight for territory. They fought for symbolism, their serpent tattoos carved not just into flesh, but into the city's fear. The police, stretched thin and bleeding authority, gave birth to a special unit, Division 9, led by a weary but sharp-eyed detective named Arden Locke. His mission wasn't justice, it was survival. Between corrupt politicians, greedy corporations, and gangs writing their own laws, Locke knew the line between cop and criminal was just a trick of the neon lights. Among the chaos, whispers grew of a ghostly gang rising in the underground data markets, the Null Syndicate. They didn't deal in bullets. They dealt in silence, erasing digital footprints, rewriting pasts, and selling futures to the highest bidder. And caught between it all, citizens who just wanted to live. Dreamers plugging into synthetic realities, workers upgrading their bodies with unstable implants, hackers stitching their souls into the net. Innovation had become addiction, and survival meant trading a piece of your humanity every day. This was not the Citadel's rebirth. This was its second mutation, and the true Dark Age was just beginning. Chapter 1. 10 days later, 10 days after the storm, the Citadel glimmered with a false sense of recovery. Neon lights masked scars on steel, and holographic ads painted illusions of progress. But beneath the shimmer, the city was raw, fractured by loss, stitched together by desperation. Juno and Kyle had survived. They weren't heroes anymore, just citizens in a city trying to breathe. Their names were whispered, but the world had moved on, because power never stays idle. When one empire falls, another rises, and already new shadows were climbing the skyline. Chapter 2. Helix Dynamics. The first was Helix Dynamics. Once a minor biotech firm, Helix now positioned itself as the savior of the Citadel. Their ads promised a brighter tomorrow, smarter implants, genetic enhancements, neural firewalls. On the streets, people called them the new gods. But the promise was a trap. Every implant came with contracts. Every upgrade came with surveillance. Citizens were selling pieces of themselves, and Helix was buying souls wholesale. At the top of Helix sat Dr. Elira Voss, a woman with silver eyes that never blinked. She spoke of progress, but the streets knew her as something else, the city's silent conqueror. Chapter 3. The Serpent Mafia. While Helix ruled in daylight, the night belonged to the Serpent Mafia. Unlike the old gangs, the Serpents didn't just deal drugs or weapons. They dealt in fear. Their leader, Reyes, the Cobra, Santoro, turned every crime into performance art. Bodies arranged like warnings, tattoos carved as signatures. To them, violence wasn't chaos, it was poetry, and the Citadel was their canvas. For ordinary citizens, the Serpents were a nightmare. For corporations, they were useful. After all, fear keeps people compliant. Chapter 4. Division 9. In response, the Citadel police force tried something new. A special division formed from broken officers and desperate recruits. Division 9. At its head was Detective Arden Locke, a man too stubborn to quit, too jaded to care about medals. He had seen the city's heart rot from inside out. His task was simple on paper: dismantle gangs, check corporations, restore order. But Locke knew the truth. Division 9 wasn't about justice. It was about keeping the illusion alive, a neon bandage over a gangrenous wound. And if he had to work in the dark, bend the law, or bleed with the criminals, so be it. Chapter 6: The Return of the Streets. The streets were alive again, markets rebuilt from scrap metal, vendors selling black market chips, and alleys buzzing with deals whispered under neon. But this wasn't the same city as before the storm. The new economy thrived on desperation. Food rations spliced with biotech additives, hacked drones resold as personal guardians, and counterfeit helix implants flooding the underground. One wrong choice meant infection. One faulty chip could fry your nervous system, and yet the citizens bought, because survival meant risk. Chapter 7: A New Player, the Iron Fangs. While the Serpent Mafia carved poetry into flesh, another gang stalked the forgotten edges of the Citadel, the Iron Fangs, a hybrid street pack who combined cybernetic augmentations with primal instincts. Led by Mira Wolf Dragon, they were less about fear and more about dominance. They hunted territories, not with guns, but with coordinated brutality. To them, the city was prey, and every building was part of their hunting ground. Chapter 8: Detective's Burden. Detective Arden Locke walked the ruins of old precincts, cigarette smoke cutting through the rain. His files overflowed: Serpents, Iron Fangs, Null Syndicate, Helix Dynamics. Each page was another knot in a noose. Division 9 was underfunded, undermanned, and already drowning. But Locke didn't chase justice anymore. He chased balance. If a gang grew too powerful, he clipped them. If Helix overstepped, he leaked intel. He wasn't a savior. He was a broker, trading favors in the shadows. And deep down, Locke knew something darker was coming. Chapter 9: The corporate gala Helix Dynamics unveiled their Neurospire Tower, a beacon of chrome and glass that pierced the neon skyline. The launch gala was broadcast across the city. Celebrities, politicians, and warlords in tailored suits. Dr. Elira Voss gave a speech about the unification of nature and machine. To the cameras, it was progress. To the streets, it was domination. Outside the gala, protesters clashed with drones. Inside, contracts were signed that would decide who lived free and who lived least. For many, this was the night they realized the Citadel wasn't theirs anymore. It belonged to Helix. Chapter 10: Shadows Converge. As the gala lights faded, the Citadel's underworld stirred. The Serpents watched. The Iron Fangs prowled. Null Syndicate whispered through the data streams, and Division 9 tried to hold a line drawn in rain. Somewhere, in the chaos, Juno and Kyle sat in silence, watching the city they had fought to rebuild twist into something unrecognizable. The Dark Age had returned, not as a storm, but as a web of power, lies, and blood. And this was only the beginning. But in the Citadel, peace never lasts. While Division 9 struggles to keep order, and the Serpent Mafia sharpens its fangs, something darker brews beneath the neon. A murder no one can explain. A glitch in Helix's flawless system. And a whisper that the Dragon Queen might have returned.